So what I want to do now is just give you guys what I was talking about before, like a history of where I started with Boogie and how that kind of influenced the different albums that Dream Theater did and I did in my solo stuff, leading up to the JP2C, which I still can't believe I'm saying it. It's, you know, to me in my world having, I don't know, I can't name something that's crazier than having my name on a Boogie. It's weird.
And that's why we did it, because as you probably noticed, we don't do signature stuff. And when John asked, you know, it was just like, of course. Like, how could we not, right? Remember,
it was a challenge.
It's like we got to recreate the beast.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And that was how, you know, we were referring to the Mark IIc, of course, C+.
There's a couple of parts to the story that lead up to this amp. One of the parts is that it is a signature amp based on my desires as a player and my requests, you know, from all that history. Like, I love this amp, but if only it did this, you know, and then I love this one, but if only it had that. That's one part of it. The other part is that one of my favorite Boogies of all time has always been the 2C+.
Mine too.
And you know, a lot of people love that amp. It was made throughout the 80s, all different kind of incarnations. I have a bunch of them. You know, Boogie had never really done a reissue. And that's to a lot of Boogie collectors, it's like a holy grail. And so this is a bona fide reissue. It's modernized. It does more than the original, but the same circuit and the same kind of big transformer and all that magic that went into the original one is in there. And I think that's a big part of the story. And so the amp he's talking about was one of my favorite ones that I've recorded with. And Randall had that in the shop, and they were going side by side, comparing it. Making sure that at least it did what that did.
We had John's main #1 head that was on all the records, and you know, it's
Let me grab a guitar. I'm going to play through my my amp to show you guys examples, but I'll talk about the different albums and what I use, so you can kind of get an idea of the history. So I was talking about the Images and Words album, and you know, some of the sounds and the tests that I do today when I'm thinking about my sound is I kind of play those riffs and see if they hold up. You know, like if the amp does that, I'm good. Or I'll play So I have it like called up here.
John, that sounded so thin.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Sounded so thin. I'm sorry about that. I was going to say it sounded so thin.
It was so thin.
It was so thin and grating.
Yeah, that sounded thin. You need to go back to the gym.
Yeah, it's just huge, man. I don't know how you guys heard that, but it's huge up here.
But you can hear, like in this, and I'm just going to jump around the tune. Don't mind me as I go through iTunes here. But so that's what I was talking about with that, and then like. Yeah, so that's like the beginning with the what's it called, quad and all that.
Yep.
Moving on to Awake, which Awake was like, and I won't go through every album, I won't bore you, but that was like '94, and that's when I discovered the C+.
Yep.
The way I usually record is if I'm doing a rhythm track, I'll do one pass, and then that'll be my main track. I'll pan that to the left, and then double the same part and pan that hard to the right. And I don't put any reverb, any compression, just the pure sound of what I said before. Guitar, cable, amp,
just
good microphones, good pre's.
Yeah.
And that's the guitar sound. So on that album, what I did was I recorded 2 tracks, a left and right of C+, and then a left and right of rectifier. And then that's where you can hear it like on some of the riffs, errata mania, like that. Haven't played that in a while. So, like, when you listen to that album, you can kind of hear the recto creeping in because the C+ has that real solid sound. The recto has more of like a creamy,
top
like
end,
top
scooped mids, a lot of top,
hazy thing. So you can hear that
hazy,
a little bit.
exactly.
You hear the difference on that one?
The top end is like definitely.
And that was also the first time I picked up a 7-string guitar. And it's actually really funny. I got my first 7-string in the New York studio that we were recording and writing in. And I opened the case. I was like, this is cool. At the time, it was a Steve Vai 7-string with green pickups.
Almost the only ones there was.
It was like the only one.
Yeah.
I played it in the live video where I'm sitting on top of the car. Driving through Brooklyn. Anyway, I picked it up and we started writing, and it was like, oh, this sounds cool. I'm like, and, you know, we wrote that song. So that was some of the first 7-string playing and writing that I did. And again, to get that kind of that tight, heavy sound, that's like the C+ magic we're talking about. And again, with the kind of more creamy, high top of
blended
blended with the recto, even caught in a web. You guys hear that sound, right?
Yeah.
That's pure boogie. So you can hear the difference on that type of stuff. Like. Almost has a more scoopy kind of sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the mix. If I play it just with the C+ with my amp, it almost has a more solid
more
sound.
mid-range, more percussive
exactly.
mid-range. Yeah.
Another amp that I kind of got into, besides the C+, that again led to this journey, was the Mark IV. I know Lamb of God is recorded with that.
They love these.
They love that. The band Chevelle. Going to the Systematic Chaos album that we did, that was all Mark IV, pretty much. So, like, I have an ISO track of the Dark Eternal Night guitar. You can hear it by itself. I'll show you what it sounds like. This is Mark IV. Right, so the 4 like almost has it has like a big fatness to it, I think.
Yeah,
right?
it's a little more scooped.
Yeah, more scoop. If I was trying to imitate that, I might. What do you think, Doug? Would I pull that down?
Dip the mids and maybe
what would you
jack
do?
the bass a little bit.
Yeah.
It's
gain or
it'll
no?
never have the softness of Attack.
Softness.
This one's so much tighter and
Yeah.
I'd say more
like
gain,
that.
more bass.
More gain, more bass. Hey, you can't go wrong.
what's cool is
That's fucking crushing, right?
yeah, it's crushing.
My God.
What
Sorry, I'm cursing.
What I think is cool though is you can mimic that amp,
Yeah.
but that amp can't mimic that amp.
No.
Because the percussive attack
Yeah.
that transformer delivers
Right.
is not available in this amp.
Right.
You know, it can't stop and start as fast. It
No.
can't.
That's
so
crazy, right?
That's something we really paid attention to with John's amp. So with the EQs, you can dial in that softness and that spread that this amp has, but you can never get that attack that this amp
That sounds
has. out of
crazy.
that, you know.
Even like something like Constant Motion had that. Yeah, I mean, it's like. Right? That's like, that's cool sounding. Yeah.
Stuff like that.
So, really quickly, I'll just do this quickly, like leading up to this amp again, when I did my solo album, I went back to a C+ for that album. And like something like Jaws of Life. That's that sound, yeah.
I don't know how that sounds out
crazy
there,
sounding,
but
right?
it's sick up here.
Right now I kind of have it set to be more Mark IV. I would probably
Yeah.
do that a little
Yep.
bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
the bass
so-
back. Like
Yeah.
that.
That kind of sound, that's all C+. You can kind of hear how the amp just does this, like, it jumps out.
It
like
explodes,
As soon as
yeah.
you hit a note, it's like it just, like it hits it somehow and then it opens, like,
Yeah.
I don't know what it's doing.
We
Some
we
weird
refer
thing.
to it a lot as
Yeah.
like vowel sounds.
Vowel
and
sounds, yeah, yeah.
That contained explosions. So.
Amazing. I love it. I did Train of Thought album. It's actually, I strayed from the Mark series and I was using a Road King for a while.
It's a good reference though, just to get a different take.
Yeah,
on it.
just for a different one.
Yeah.
Like, this is like the As I Am guitar sound just isolated. Like, let's see. So, you know, if I was like with this, I have a 7-string, it's not tuned the same, but. I would probably do something more
Yeah,
like that.
that's close.
Yeah.
That's close.
pretty close.
That's close,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah, that's that kind of sound. It rocks. What did I do? Good question. I don't know.
Scooped out mid. You scooped out more mid.
Yeah,
right?
what I did is I recognized from the sound that the rectifier sound had a little bit less middle, so I scooped the 750 fader down. It also had some more of like the real high stuff, so I brought the presence control up, and it sounded more gainy, so I turned up the gain. So just got, your ears kind of get used to like recognizing, oh, that's what it's doing. there's a kind of a proud moment in Behind the Veil where the guitar is by itself. And it's a pretty good C+y moment from the Mark V. Let's try to find it. Right? That's it. Yeah. So now, when I hear that, I would bring the mids back in.
Yeah.
Right? So you guys are going to hear now the difference between like the As I Am kind of thing, maybe not so much.
Yep. A little
Low
less on
end.
that super top. Yep.
Right? So see if I can remember that riff. Here's the wimpy version. That's like the Mark V version of the C++, and then here we are now with my amp. And the thing is, the reason I painstakingly went through the history is to show you that everything that was learned made it into the JP2C. It is like the ultimate version of all those things and all that history.
Yeah. It really is.
And I couldn't be more proud of it. It's insane.
Yeah.